Bowtie Productions is making Bluey content now.
It all began with a meme. This meme. Quote unquote. Every so often there comes a blue dog to guide the generations. This, dear viewers, got me thinking. Does this logic actually hold up? Why are there so many blue dogs in media? Could the coloring and actions of the shows have an effect on each generation that grew up with them? These are the questions we are delving into today. So greetings, all who have tuned in. You're watching Bowtie Productions, where we cover theories of all kinds, but there are some other videos currently in the works as well. If you like this content and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, and you might as well ring the bell while you're at it. I upload every Sunday, but there may be the occasional short or community poll throughout the week. Also, go check out the official Twitter account if you so choose, the link is in the description. And finally, I'm happy to announce that this video marks the first video in Bluey month. I'm uploading a new Bluey theory video every Sunday during the month of February 2024, so expect a short about midway through the month as well. Alright, first we have to break down color theory and then apply that knowledge to the cartoons to see if the claim holds up. So, what is color theory? According to MHAnational.com, or Mental Health National.com, color theory, also known as chromotherapy or color healing, suggests that specific colors and their frequencies have a psychological and physiological impact on your feelings and behaviors. Simply exposing yourself to certain colors can cause the desired effects, including blues, greens, and yellows during winter, when those colors are less likely to be seen naturally, can help keep you out of seasonal depression. Subjecting yourself to reds or ambers right before bed can increase melatonin production and help you sleep. And if you need a boost in your energy, try happy bright colors, or dark somber colors if you're feeling overstimulated. Eastern practices of opening and balancing your chakras also use colors to represent each chakra. And also, this is for anyone who needs to hear it, taking care of your mental health is just as important as your physical health, if not more. If you need to call off work and take a self-care day, go for it. If you want to understand what you're going through, I encourage you to reach out to a therapist or someone in your life who can help. And if you're looking for a sign to reach out to someone, this is that sign. I will include various mental health helplines in the description, and if you want, the comments of this video are a safe place for anyone who needs it, and I expect everyone to respect that. I know I don't usually cover topics like this, which is why I find it important to include this part of the video. Now, according to color theory, and verywellmind.com, blues can seem conservative and traditional. It can bring about feelings of calmness and relaxation, and is often described as peaceful, tranquil, secure, and orderly. It can be seen as a sign of stability and reliability, but can also bring about feelings of sadness or aloofness. And to give credit where credit is due, the article was written by Kendra Cherry, MS, a psychosocial rehabilitation specialist, psychology educator, and author of the Everything Psychology book. Now this tells us that people who watch shows with regularly occurring blues tend to be more compassionate, sympathetic, and calm. However, dark blues can conjure a more demanding feeling of power, like we see in police uniforms. They signify who is in charge of certain situations. So, all three of these blue dogs are primarily light blue, which makes sense. Their respective creators want their viewers to feel safe, secure, and at peace when watching their shows, which causes the brain to produce more and more dopamine, which in turn results in the brain relating dopamine to these shows, which will lead you to keep watching. And I know I've mentioned dopamine a few times now. For anyone who doesn't know, dopamine is a chemical in your brain that is released when you feel any sort of pleasure. It can be anything, a fun activity, a TV show you enjoy, perhaps one with a blue dog, wink wink. Shopping, whenever you enjoy something, dopamine is released. It's the natural happy drug. So, that explains why there are so many blue dogs in media. The color blue produces feelings of comfort and can be something people of all ages want to come back to. Now, for our next question, could the coloring and actions of the shows have an effect on each generation that grew up with them? While kids tend to mimic what they see on TV, it's a normal process, so let's dive into the shows themselves. First, the Huckleberry Hound show. By reading the episode descriptions, the Huckleberry Hound segments of the show seem to follow the formula where Huck has a task to do or someone to capture, but chaos ensues. Now Huck eventually succeeds though. Now, even though the show ended in 1961, Huck still has made appearances in other Hanna-Barbera works, the most recent being a cameo in an episode of Teen Titans Go, apparently, so he's been around for quite some time. Most notably, though, his show would have influenced baby boomers through millennials, since our next Blue Dog dropped around the time of the Gen Zers. Since Huck is often chilled and relaxed, you would think that boomers and millennials would turn out chilled and relaxed as well, but we often see the opposite. We do have to keep in mind, however, that it was a different time back then when TVs were not as mainstream as they are today. Plus, there are chilled and relaxed boomers and millennials. The fact that they do exist proves that shows can affect the generation that grows up with them. We just don't come across the very good ones often. And this could be due to not everyone having access to TVs, or those generations may have just swayed towards other shows at the time. But let's move on to our next show, Blue's Clues. The average episode of Blue's Clues follows the host as they are given clues and must put the clues together with the help of the audience to decipher what Blue is trying to say. Back in my day, the host was your boy Steve, the GOAT. I made a video about this very topic about Blue's Clues. In it, I came to the conclusion that there are so many theorists on YouTube these days because we were all impressionable youths around the time Blue's Clues was airing, and so watching the show led us to developing a knack for finding clues and piecing together narratives based on those clues. The link to that video is in the top right corner of the screen if anyone wants to go watch it. Therefore, in that video I have already answered our question regarding Blue's Clues. Once more, we've proven that shows can affect the generation that grows up with them. This generation, my generation, being Gen Z. So let's cover our final show, shall we? Bluey. Bluey is a show about childhood fun and wonder. Most of the time, the episodes center around the girls, Bluey and her sister Bingo, as they play various childhood games with their parents, Bandit and Chili. The parents usually participate just as much as the children do. Top tier parents right there. I'm sure there's no underlying issues they have going on, right? Right? Well, that's a theory for later in the month. Anyway, some kids get into arguments, some get sad, some are happy all the time, and some are loud and obnoxious. The show shows kids being kids. It shows them having everyday issues, and it tackles some advanced topics compared to usual kids shows as well. And that is why this show is so beloved amongst the viewers. But because it is a relatively new hit show with the current generation, Gen Alpha, it's too early to tell if this show affects that current generation. However, we can predict it. So, let's do just that. The youngest kids can relate the most to Socks, Muffin, and Bingo since they're the youngest. Socks being a baby, Muffin being a demanding toddler that takes naps and throws tantrums, and Bingo the slightly older 4 to 5-year-old depending on which episode you look at. Because yes, the characters do indeed age up during the show. As the children grow up, we can expect them to relate the most to Bluey or any of her friends who are all around 7 years old. These characters have complex emotions developing, but the most important parts are when they're open about their feelings. They talk about what's on their mind. And lastly, as the current generation becomes adults, they will most likely relate to the parents or the aged-up versions of the characters when we see those brief moments. This tells us that this generation will probably grow up to be the best of us as of yet. They will be used to feeling their emotions, learning about them, and being open to discussing them whenever they feel like it. They'll encourage people to stop bottling up emotions and to just let them flow in healthy ways, and probably put therapists out of business in the process. Finally, they'll become mature adults who are not afraid of change, people who will be the change that they want to see in the world, from fixing our ecosystem to technological advances beyond our wildest imaginations. The current generation has so much potential, and it's all because of Bluey. So, now we know why there are so many blue dogs in media. It's because blue is a calm color that can help relax people. It can provide a sense of security and lead to people coming back for that dopamine flow. We know that colors and shows are indeed capable of influencing those watching, and we have a rough guess as to how the current generation will turn out. It may have started with a meme, but the logic is indeed sound. The blue dogs can and will guide the generations to become the best they can be. But leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.